All right, welcome back into the Saloon. It's your boy Wrangler. It's been a minute. I know I've missed you guys out there in YouTube. But something interesting has happened in the game, and I wanted to address it real quick. It's a little bit of a different take than some other content creators out there right now. Not greatly diverging from their advice, but a little bit. So I thought I'd make a quick vid on it. We've got these two characters coming into the game late 2024, maybe even early 2025. Baylan Skull and GL Ahsoka, Ahsoka the White. We're in this cool little place in the game where we're dropping marquees for these two characters, and it's going to be a minute before they're released free-to-play farm, where we can get them up to 7 stars and then get them up to the required relic levels for their events. So, if you're not wailing on these characters and just getting them right off the rip and relicing them up, and you're like me, we've got some time right now and this opportunity to do some roster building and kind of firm up some of our squads before we get all these requirements done, and we can start the events for Baylan and Ahsoka. So let's jump into the game and let's talk about that a little bit. All right, so I like to organize my roster, my squads, into kind of what I use the most. So I've got some GAC tabs in there, I've got the Raid and Conquest tabs, and then I've got this Projects tab. And this just helps me stay on focus, because I can get a little bit distracted and start running after some new character. And I may not have finished up the stuff that I really wanted to before. So when we get these little opportunities, these little time frames within the game where you can stop chasing the latest thing and go back in your roster and work on some things, that's important, I think. So instead of going right after the Baylan Skull and GL Ahsoka requirements, I've gone into some older teams and started getting some low and mid relic characters up into higher relics to make my roster just that much more competitive, that much better in GAC, Territory Wars, and Conquest. I hate TB. I do it. I hate it. I'm not building stuff for that unless the guild needs me to. So sorry about that, Shawl, but you know, if you want something out of me, you just ask. I'll get it done. But I'm not taking up that mantle on my own. Anyway, all right, so the Baylan Skull requirements right here. We know that the Great Mothers and Morgan Elsbeth and Grand Admiral Thrawn are required for Baylan. These two placeholders, Eighth Brother and Barris, represent Merrick and Shin Hati, the two new marquees, assuming they're going to be marquees, coming out in the next month or two. Who knows? But that should round out all of the characters required for Baylan Skull's event. Word on the street is that everything is going to be required at Relic 7. So those two marquees, we're going to have to star them up and gear them up to that level to be able to enter into that event. Hopefully, it's just a gear check, level check, and once we're at R7, we can complete that event without a whole lot of restarts or remodding and get Baylan going. We also have the announced requirements for GL Ahsoka. We've got 2 R5s so far, Asajj Ventress and Ezra. And then we've got 3 R7s in the Captain Enoch Night Trooper and Death Trooper Peridia, the new Imperial Remnant tunes. Again, I'm still working on stars on these guys and on the new Night Sisters, so it's going to take me a minute to get them up to 7, where I can start working on their gear. We've also got some R8, R9 requirements that have been dropped. General Skywalker at R8, and so far, Cat and Snips at R9. Now, I'm not going to drop that amount of gear, those relic materials, until I've got most, if not all, of the marquees at 7 stars, and I'm working on them too. So I'll start hoarding materials for these guys, but I wanted to take advantage of this time frame and build my roster. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. So if we scroll down here just a touch, and we start looking at these upgraded characters, these are all the characters that as soon as the GL Ahsoka and Baylan requirements were starting to get talked about, and I figured out that I had this little bit of time to farm marquees, I wanted to start working on these squads, these characters. So up on this first row up here, my BT1 was at R5, and he was doing okay, but not very consistent in the Jabba counter. Got him up to R7, he's working a lot better now. He could probably use R8, but I want to save some of those relic materials. for the R9 requirements, because we're probably going to get one more R9, if not two. And I don't want to waste them all on characters that are doing okay at the level that they're at right now. I got Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi-Wan up to Relic 7. They match Queen Amidala now. I'm not all the way up, again, at that R9 level for the event with those two guys, where you can start getting droid brains and Gerda keypads. I don't know if I'm going to get those guys up there. R7 is fine, I think. It makes a formidable team, and they do just fine in the raid at that level, so they might sit there for a while. Iden, I got up to Relic 5. She was R3. Saw Gerrera, I got up to R3 for his leadership and put his Omicron on. Because I got Luthen at the last conquest, and I got him right up to Relic 5, so I could use that Datacron that's coming out, and put one of his Omis on as well. So my Saw team is looking okay for right now. We'll see how they work in threes coming up in just a week or so. I also wanted to get Bo-Katan Mandalore up. She was at R7 before. I bumped her up a level to R8. And again, she's just more consistent in killing the things you need her to kill. Third sister, I got up to R7 for the rest of my Inquisitor squad. They were all R7 for the Reva unlock. And now I can also use her in that Reva battle, that Inquisitor's battle on Darkseid in TD, instead of like Ninth Sister or something. Big Chris, I got him up to R8 to be a little better tank. Again, he could probably go to R9, but I'm saving those. And then Moff Gideon also has a Datacron in the series. Got him up to R5. I also wanted him a little bit more survivable for the Imperial Remnant team, wherever he ends up, either on the OG Darth Trooper Moff Gideon team or the new Enoch team. Not sure, but I wanted him a little beefier, and he's quick, so the relics I don't believe were a waste on that. So those are what I've upgraded since I saw you guys last, and then I've still got my hit list for things I want to get up to R3. Not like super important, but you know, if I've got my horde going and I've got some extra materials, I'll start bringing these guys up into relics. I wouldn't mind getting Veers and Death Trooper up to R5, make my Imperial Troopers team a little bit better, as well as the flex on Death Trooper for Imperial Remnant or Imperial Troopers. And then I'm still working on like Darth Malgus, Mace, and Royal Guard, some older tanks, and getting them up to R7. Again, all of these characters could be even better up at R9, but I'm going to save those resources. So it's up to you. Like, you can hoard up. There's some content creators out there right now with these beautiful spreadsheets showing, you know, every day they're grinding out and hoarding up for each individual character. That's not my style. That's a little bit too particular for me. But I like doing this kind of stuff. You know, we got some squads going that are looking a little bit better now that we've got some more relics on them. I'd love to get the rest of my GLs up to Relic 9 at some point, but again, they're going to wait until after GL Ahsoka comes out. They're doing just fine at where they're at. It's just kind of a brag thing. But you know, getting Royal Guard up a little bit for the Lord Vader team would be nice. Getting Malgus up so he gets that bigger hit off that first jump. That'd be great. You know, Inquisitor's looking pretty good now. Bo-Katan, all Relic 7 except for Bo-Katan Kryze, OG Bo-Katan. So again, take this opportunity if you've got the time and you don't want to hoard up for the high relics coming in for the GL and Baylan and Skull events. And you can kind of bolster up your roster a little bit. I was at like 11.3, 11.5 on GP, and over the last month to 6 weeks, I got up to 12 just by bolstering some squads that I personally wanted to improve their performance on. So that is all I've got for you today. I hope that was as interesting for you as it was to me when I first thought about it. You know, take advantage of these little lulls in farming where you can kind of get off the treadmill a bit and, you know, look around, smell the roses, take a look at the rest of your roster, see if there's anything in there that, you know, you use a lot and you'd like them to work just a little better by adding some relic materials onto them or getting them up into relics in the first place. All right, guys, until next time, I will see you on the flip side. Be good out there, but not too good. We'll see you in the saloon real soon.